Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Monks, do not think of evil, unwholesome thoughts, discursive thoughts. That is, discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, and discursive thoughts of cruelty. Why? Because they are not relevant, not beneficial for the fundamentals of the holy life. They are not heading to enchantment, dispassion, cessation, true knowledge, enlightenment and Nibbana. Friends, this is an utterance of the Buddha from the connected discourses of the Buddha, Samyukta Nikaya. Today, this is a special retreat for all of us to understand discursive thoughts and to understand how discursive thoughts are to be abandoned. Therefore, the topic for this Dhamma talk is how to practice and abandon discursive thoughts. As it is clear to you now, there are three types of discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, discursive thoughts of cruelty. These are wrong thoughts. That is why they are called discursive thoughts. Thinking again and again, roaming again and again, thinking, discursive, going long way. When you think of this, you can think hours and hours on the same topic, same thing. That is why they are called discursive. Discursive thoughts are, discursive thoughts pop up whenever we leave behind a cause. They are underneath. When we have these discursive thoughts or underlying tendencies, in other words, they are called underlying tendencies. They underlie in the mind. Then whenever the similar situation arises with the support of external object, they pop up and they give us unnecessary problems, suffering. We then suffer. So the Buddha taught us, as long as you have these underlying tendencies, with the support of craving, you cannot stop this. Underlying tendencies are to be cut off. Craving is to be cut off, in other words. One day, while the Buddha was going from house to house begging together with Venerable Ananda, Buddha saw a sow. He saw a sow, is a pig. So is a pig, you know that. Feminine pig. Having seen this pig, so the Buddha smiled. Then Venerable Ananda asked, Bhante, why you smiled? The Buddha said, Ananda, this pig, this soul, in her previous lives, one of his previous lives, she was a hen. She was a hen in one of his previous lives. During that time, she was attentively listening to a sort of chanted by a teacher. That chanting was something referent to vipassana, insight. So the hen, attentively listened to that chanting. It is because of that she was born as a human, a princess. The princess herself, after that life, she was born as a princess and she had that insight. She wanted to practice. One day, while she was practicing repulsiveness, having seen some maggots in a cesspit, she developed her mind and she got the first jhana. As the result, after her death, she was born in Brahma world. Now she has come back to this world as a pig. Ananda, this is the nature of samsara. Where the Buddha said, Yathapi mule anupaddave dalhe chinnopi rukko punareva ruhati evampi tanhanusaye anuhate nibbattati dukkha midang punappunang. Yathapi mule anupaddave dalhe. Though the tree is cut down, if the roots are still remaining unhurt, the tree sprouts again and again. Likewise, even though we try to calm down ourselves, if we have simply subdued our thoughts, if there is underlying tendency, if there is craving, then again and again dukkha arises. That is the meaning. So it is because of underlying tendencies. It is because of these discursive thoughts. We have to understand these discursive thoughts. How these discursive thoughts arise. Venerable 𝐭𝐴𝑘𝐝 said this clearly in the discourse of honey bowl. You might have read this discourse, honey bowl discourse, Madhu Pindika Sutta, where he said how these discursive thoughts arise. Chakkunchauso paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku viññāna. He said, friends, addressing his friends, monks, he said, friends, when there is I, then when there are forms, I consciousness arises. Chakkunchauso paticca rupecha uppajjati chakku viññāna. When there is the I and the forms, then there arises consciousness. Tinnang sangati, these three come together. which is called phassa, contact. It is because of this contact, feeling arises, he said. Feeling arises. Tinnang sangate passo, passo pacca vedana. Yang vedeti tang sanjanati. What one feels, that one perceive. This is the process. This is how these underlying, how these discursive thoughts arise. What one feels, that one perceive. Vedana yang vedeti tang sanjanati. Yang sanjanati tang vitakketi. Yang sanjanati. Whatever what one perceive. Yang sanjanati. Perception. Recognize. Whenever you recognize something, either an animate thing or inanimate thing, then you start to think. That thinking is called vitakka. There you have three types of vitakka. Having seen the object, if it is a pleasurable thing, something to be enjoyed, then sensual desire arises. And that is what is called sensuality. Desire, discursive thoughts of sensuality arise. Sensuality to please the five senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. Or when you see something not pleasurable, painful, something hurtsome, then you have displeasurable feeling. That is what is called discursive thoughts of ill will. Your will is ill there. Therefore, ill will. Or else, if you see the person who did something wrong to you, then whenever you see the person, you want to take revenge. Where you think to use a weapon, club, or something, hit him, or even kill him. That is what is called discursive thoughts of cruelty. Friends, these are the thoughts. These thoughts are the worst things, not the people. People are nice. Whenever these three types of discursive thoughts arise in us, we do all sort of bad deeds, evil, unwholesome things. That is why the Buddha said, monks, do not think these evil thoughts, evil, unwholesome. Since they are evil, they are unwholesome. So if we can curb this, if we can cut down these thoughts, we can be good ones. That is why the Buddha taught the Dhamma, Buddhism, to understand our own thoughts and calm down ourselves, to come to the state of peacefulness, keep a pacified mind, a calm person, then we do not do such evil things. But what happens when something happens like that? We have discursive thoughts. One day, Venerable 𝐒𝐞𝐿𝑜𝑤𝑠ℎ was the one at a time, 𝐒𝐴𝐲𝑬 was the Buddha's attendant monk, like Venerable Ananda. By that time, he was the attendant monk, Venerable 𝐒𝐴𝐲𝑬. One day, while he was going from house to house begging, he saw a pleasure garden next to the river Kimikala. Having seen this pleasure garden, he thought that, oh, this is a wonderful place. Why don't I come and practice meditation here? With that idea, he went back to the monastery and asked Buddha whether it is possible for him to go and practice meditation in that pleasure garden. Then the Buddha said, well, it's okay, though you are the only person to help me now. Better wait for another person. Better wait for some time. Then he waited, and again he asked whether he can go. Nobody came. Then Buddha again said, wait for a while for another person to come, because he was the only person to help the Buddha. Then third time he said, oh, the Buddha has done everything, now you have nothing to do, but I have to practice. I have to practice. Buddha has done everything, so Buddha has nothing to do. Like that, he sort of not happy, ill will. And then Buddha said, okay, you can go. He went to that pleasure garden and started to practice. What happened? Discursive thoughts of what? Sensual pleasure. Discursive thoughts of sensuality arose, hit him, and he was overwhelmed by these thoughts. Because he was a prince in his previous life, that was his pleasure garden. So these discursive thoughts are not right now. All these are dead ones, old ones, past ones. Just like the buffalo eat the cud things. Buffalo eats, it eats grass. Whenever he gets a chance, he eat that, and keep them all in a sort of pocket. Later on, he sits somewhere and then start to cud. That is called cudding. Start to chew this. Just like that, what we do, we do the same. Same thing. Something happened in the past. We take this, we grasp this, and then we think of it. That is discursive thought. Discursive thoughts of sensuality, ill will, and cruelty. This is what happened. Then he couldn't practice. He went back to the monastery and told the story to the Buddha. Thereafter, Buddha gave a discourse and asked him to practice properly. That is how discursive thoughts of sensuality arise. Another monk named Sankhara, his teacher asked him to fan him with the fan. The monks have their fan. He was asked to fan him. While he was fanning, he was not happy with his teacher because he wanted to offer a robe to his teacher. He did not accept it. Now he thought that my teacher did not accept my robe. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be the monk. I want to disrobe. He thought, I want to disrobe. Then the teacher asked him to fan him. Teacher was an enlightened one. So now he started to fan fan with the fan. Okay. So while he was fanning, he started to think. That is, discursive thoughts arose in him. Then he started to think. Thinking. That is called vitakka. Vitakka. He was thinking. What he is thinking? He thought that, no, I don't want to stay. I must disrobe. Then I must buy some goats. Later on I can buy some more, like I can buy cow. Then I can buy a cart. Then I'll get married, and after that when I have a son, together with my wife and son, I will come to see the teacher. When I come with her, on the way, as we are coming on the cart, she might, because of her not caring the son properly, she might fall the son. Then I will hit her. I will hit her with the goat. With a stick, I will hit her, thinking that way he hit the monk with the fan. As he was fanning the monks, he thought, I will hit her, like I will hit her. He hit the monk. Then the monk said, oh, why you thinking that you were hitting your wife? You hit me, this old man. Why? Thinking, unnecessary thoughts. That is what happens. Even while you are sitting here, while you are listening to the Dhamma talk, some of you might think something else. Something else happened at home. Those are called discursive thoughts. We have to detect them. We have to understand them. That is how discursive thoughts of sensuality. Let's understand it. Discursive thoughts of ill will. Your will is ill. Another monk. I give these short stories so that you can remember. Another monk, while practicing, he was not happy. Ill will towards the Buddha. Buddha has not explained these 10 unanswered questions. Why unanswered? Each and every question should be answered. Why unanswered? I should go to him and ask. So, he was not happy with the Buddha. He went to meditate, but he started to think ill will thoughts. Then he went to the Buddha and asked, Bhante, you have not explained these 10 questions. What are the 10 questions? Like, the world is eternal. You have not explained whether it is eternal or not. So, world is not eternal. World is eternal or not? World is finite or infinite? The soul and body are the same or two different things. Whether the arahants, the enlightened one, one is existing after death, not existing after death, neither exist nor exist after death, or neither non-exist or non-exist, like that. 10 unanswered questions. So these questions you have not explained. If he says, if Bhante does not know this, say that you do not know this. Like that. Because of ill will. We have to understand our own ill will. Cruelty. Next is cruelty thought. Once there was a lion sleeping under a jack tree. A dead branch fall upon the lion. The lion thought, this tree is not happy. Tree is against me. Tree is not happy as I am sleeping here. The tree is against me. Wait, that is cruelty. Wait, I will destroy this tree. That is how to destroy things. It is because of cruelty you want to destroy the person. So he went to the drum beater and said, drum beater, he said to him, if you make a drum with the trunk of a jack tree, your drum will be a better one. The drum beaters. So he went to the drum beater and asked the drum beater to cut the tree and make a drum with that trunk of the jack tree. That is how he wanted to destroy the tree, because the lion can't do that. So the drum beater came and cut the tree. There was a deva on the top of the tree. That was the deva's abbot. Deva understood what happened. Then Deva went to the drum beater and said, if you make a drum with the skin of a lion, then your drum will be the nice one, the better one. Make the drum with the skin of the lion. That is how they perished themselves. That is what happened to us also. If we have ill will thoughts and cruelty thoughts, that's exactly what happened to us also. Friends, this is why we have to understand these thoughts are evil thoughts, unwholesome thoughts. Therefore, we have to think in a proper way, not to harm myself, not to harm others, not to harm any. That is the way. That is the way to think as Buddhist, as cultured people, as civilized people. So these thoughts, when we have these thoughts, we make our thoughts our own. Means with craving, we cling to these thoughts and we leave behind these as causes. That's with the idea of mine, me, myself. Mine, me, myself. That is called manjana. Manjana. Whatever we keep as my own, that belongs to Mara. The Buddha said, whenever you have that concept of I, my, myself, you are bound to Mara. Then what happens? You leave behind the cause. As you leave behind the cause, then there are results. Results are to be reaped somewhere in the field of Mara. As I said yesterday, there are 31 fields. All these belong to Mara. So we will have to be born in these 31 realms. That is the samsaric journey. If we delight, the Buddha said, when we see the objects, we delight to grasp things. If we grasp things, there is craving. Grasping arises because of craving. Tanha paccaya upadana. Because of craving, grasping arises. With that, we are wandering in samsara. Therefore, the Buddha's teaching is clear that Buddha wanted us not to grasp anything. Nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. Upadana means grasping. Buddha said in the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha said, Nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. In the whole world, there is nothing to cling to. Nothing to cling to in the world. Whenever, wherever we cling, we are in the grip of Mara. Mara can do anything, just like the hook of the fisherman. Fisherman's hook. The fisherman put the hook with the bait. The Mara is the fisherman. Mara used us. He put the bait and hook for us to eat, take it. Then we are in the grip of Mara. Verbally, physically and mentally, we are caught. That is the way. So the Buddha wanted us to understand this Dhamma and cut off these thoughts, these different thoughts. Buddha said, one day a certain wanderer went to the Buddha named Vachagotta. When he went to the Buddha, he said, Bhante, the last week, some people, the wise people got together in the debating hall where they talked about these different teachers in the city. By that time, there were 7 great teachers in that particular city called Magadha. They talked about these wise teachers, great teachers. They all agreed that all other teachers, they accept and they declare whenever a person died, whenever as they can say that the person died and he or she was born in that particular realm. They can say that. And even they are so-called enlightened ones, referring to them also, the other teachers, they all say that that particular one was born in that particular place. That is how other teachers said. But they all talk about Bhante, about Gautama, the Buddha. Gautama, the Buddha, does not say so. All other teachers talk about rebirth of their own enlightened ones even. They all say, this Bhante, Venerable, the Buddha does not say such things. What the Buddha says is that they cut off their craving. They came to they destroyed defilements and they destroyed dukkha. Like that. So they questioned this. So he said, Bhante, it is, for me, it is something secret. I have doubt. Then the Buddha said, it's good that you have doubt. Right at the right time you have doubt. Vacha, the Buddha said, Vacha, sa upadanasako ahang vacha uppattim panyapemi no anupadanasa. Vacha, I talk about re-becoming, not rebirth. I talk about re-becoming to the person who has craving, who has attachment, upadana. Only the person who have attachment. That means those who have attachment are born again. If you have no attachment, you are not born again. That is the meaning. So what is to be cut off? Attachment. Attachment to anything. If you have little bit attachment, even little bit, you have dukkha. You know that what the Buddha taught to Visakha. Visakha, the chief benefactress of the Buddha. She went to the Buddha, and as she was approaching, the Buddha saw that she was all wet, her clothes wet, the hair wet, wet hairs. She was different on the day. Buddha asked Visakha, why? What happened? Then she said, Bhante, my granddaughter passed away. This is how I feel, this is how we do normally. Then Buddha asked Visakha, do you like all the children in this city become your own grandsons and daughters? Then she says, yes, Bhante. Then he asked, how many children, how many people die a day? She said, like 10 persons, 12 persons, like that. Then he said, then Visakha, you have no day to be free from this wet cloth and wet hair, because people die every day. You have to cry every day. If you have 100 attachment, he said, Buddha said, if you have 100 attachment, you have 100 suffering. If you have 90 attachment, you have to have 90 dukkha, 90 suffering. If you have 80, you have to suffer 90 times, 80 times. If you have 70 times suffering, attachment, then you have to suffer 70 times. Like that, reducing this, Buddha said, if you have 10 attachment, you have to suffer 10 times. If you have 9 attachment, you have to suffer 9 times. If you have 8 attachment, you have to suffer 8 times. If you have 7 times, 6 times, 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1 time. If you have no attachment, you do not want to suffer. That is how to understand. Grasping, attachment, upadana. If we have upadana, grasping, we think of this. And then we have to reap the results. These discursive thoughts are arising, they all come to the surface. If we have this, if we have kept this thought as a cause, how do we store this type of discursive thoughts in us? Whenever we see the object, we cling to that and bring it to inside. That is called upadana. Upa means inside, adana means dragging. Drag it in and leave behind. In other words, it is called sankhara. Sankhara, abhisankhara. There are 3 types of abhisankhara. 3 types of volitional formations. These are volitional formation. Yesterday we talked about karma. That is what is called volitional formation. So when we do good deeds, we leave behind. We think of the good deeds, then leave it behind. It is there in our mind. It is in the aggregates of volitional formation. We do bad deeds and again we leave behind. Then if we practice jhana, we leave behind. So, because of this, we have to reap the results. If we leave behind a cause, only then there is results. Buddhism is a causality. Buddha taught cause and effect. If there is no cause, no result, no effect. That is the teaching. So, when we see the object, if we grasp it, then it is ours. We leave behind it as a cause. So now, these thoughts, these discursive thoughts, the Buddha gave a discourse named 𝐾īra-rukkopama sutta. 𝐾īra-rukkopama means simile of the sap tree. Sap, milk. 𝐾īra means milk. You know, there are certain trees in which there are sap. There are different trees. Milky stuff come out whenever you cut it, whenever you hurt the tree, like like jack tree, such trees, they have sap. Buddha said, suppose monks, somebody would cut 6 different places of the tree. Then what happens? The sap come out. Just like that, whenever we have some certain things which is similar to what we have left behind, then it pop-ups. For instance, suppose you see the person who did something wrong to you, then your ill will pop-ups. If you see a person who is pleasant, who is beautiful, a pretty one, then pop up with the sensual pleasures, thought of sensuality, and ill will, cruelty, the same. It is because you have left behind. Now the Buddha said, suppose monks, if there is no sap in the tree, what happened? You cut the tree, but no sap to come out. Just like that. If we have no discursive thoughts, if we have not left behind anything as causes, then nothing to come out. I will give you another simile. Suppose there is a pond with 5 doors, gates to water to come in. It's a pond with 5 gates, 5 doors to which the water come in. One person wants to stop this. He closed all the 5 doors. Now, no water come in through these doors. Just like that, this is the pond. I am the pond, you are the pond. You have to close your doors through which no water of discursive thoughts come in. Through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue and body. No such thing come in. But still, there are things inside. In the pond, though you close the doors of the pond, there is some more water. You have to pump it out. You have to pump out this water which is inside. Once you empty the pond, it is empty. No more water inside. That is what we have to do. By practicing by practicing this discursive thoughts, we have to understand discursive thoughts and we should stop this. Whenever they pop up, we have to stop it. Stop the discursive thoughts. That is what I told you to do this morning. Whether it is sensual desire, ill will, or cruelty, to understand and stop. That is how you close the door of the pond. Once you close the doors, still there are some sort of things we left behind. They themselves pop up at the time when something is happening outside, as then with the support of external object, they pop up. Then you can cut off that also. In such a way, this boat or this pond can be emptied. Buddha said, empty this boat. Empty this boat, then you can easily sail. That is how we have to understand. To understand this, first we have to understand unwholesome thoughts. Unwholesome thoughts means discursive thoughts. Those are unwholesome. Then these are to be switched to wholesome thought. That is what is called right thoughts in the Noble Eightfold Path. You see, in order to come to Noble Eightfold Path, you have to understand wrong path. Where we find these discursive thoughts, cruelty, ill will thoughts, and cruelty thoughts. With that understanding, we come to right path, Noble Eightfold Path. Friends, that Noble Eightfold Path itself is not leading to the attainment of enlightenment. That path is the path, it is called good one. But sāsava puññabhāgya upadivepakka. In that path, when you come to good thoughts lead to right things, but not to the attainment of enlightenment, not to cut off defilement. It's good. That is what is called good. That is what is called merit. Sāsava, that is with taints. As long as we have taints, we are not enlightened. All taints are to be cut off. Asava. All taints are to be cut off. Sāsava puññabhāgya, which is pertaining to merit. This path, the Noble Eightfold Path, is the path to do merit. That is not to attain enlightenment. That is what I said, that one has to cut off merit and demerit both. So, merit-making path is the Eightfold Path. You have to go to another step. That is what is called Noble Eightfold Path, where the thoughts are not simply good thoughts. Thoughts are wholesome, but the noble one's thought. The noble one's thoughts are the thoughts heading to understand the Four Noble Truths. In order to understand that, one has to come to the second level with the support of right mindfulness, right effort, and right understanding. Then we can come to right speech, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, and right knowledge and right liberation. Then the path becomes a tenfold path, not the eightfold path. The path becomes tenfold path, means one can attain full enlightenment. One can become the taintless one, the Arahant. That is the way. In order to understand this, we have to practice. We have to understand our own thoughts. Buddha's teaching is not to mold, not to make this body, tame this body, but to tame our mind. Once the Buddha said in a particular discourse named taming nivitta, he pointed out, said, monks, in this society there are 4 types of persons. One type, mentally, physically they are tamed, but not mentally. That is the first kind. There are people, they are physically tamed, mentally tamed, physically not tamed. There are people mentally tamed, not physically tamed. There are people not tamed physically and mentally both. There are some, they are tamed physically and mentally. Those are 4 groups. I'll explain this. You see, there are some people, they go to woods, they go to forest to practice. Physically, he or she is in the forest, tamed. They have tame body. You see, he is in the forest, he is practicing nicely, bodily. But mentally, he might not be there. His mind is at home, in the city. So, physically he is tamed, but not mentally. There are some such people in this society. Secondly, the Buddha said, there are some people in this society, they are mentally tamed, but not physically. Some of us in the society, in the city, you are living in the city, you are physically, you are not tamed. You have to do many stuff. You are so busy, but you have good thoughts. You have generosity. You are practicing generosity. You have good thoughts, different, like you have compassion, kindness, good thoughts. Though you are living in society, you are physically you are not tamed, but mentally you are tamed. There are some such persons in this society. Then there are some more. The third group, they are neither physically nor mentally tamed. In society, there are such people, neither physically nor mentally tamed. And there is still another group, they are both mentally and physically tamed one. That group, we expect that group. As good persons, we need such persons in society. Those who are mentally and physically tamed ones. Taming body is not that important. Taming mind is the most important thing. Whole teaching of the Buddha is to tame this mind, tame the bull, tame in the bull. Bull is the mind. This bull is to be tamed by each and every wise person, individually. Though we practice together, individually the bull is to be tamed. The mind is to be tamed. So friends, this is the purpose of this Dhamma. So wherever we are, whatever we are doing, if you are mindful, you can practice this and practice this meditation. Not necessarily to sit on a cushion while you are on the bus, on the train, or in the kitchen, or house, wherever, office, wherever you are, these discursive thoughts pop up. Understand right there. Even not necessary to close your eyes. You don't want to close your eyes. Open eyes. While you open your eyes, whatever you are doing, these discursive thoughts pop up. Then understand it as a discursive thought, where the Buddha said, then use the perception of abandonment, pahana sanya. In the Girimananda Sutta, the Buddha said, pahana sanya. Apply that. Pahana sanya. Think that this is not relevant. Whenever such thoughts arises, think this is not relevant to me. If it is not relevant, stop. Stop it. Do not welcome. Nadivaseti, Buddha said, Nadivaseti. Stop. Do not welcome. Then let it go. Destroy. Totally cut off. Exterminate. Vaporize it. That thought. And then be happy. Once you vaporize it, once you completely, entirely exterminate it, you can be happy. Smile then. That's the practice. In the Deda Vitakka Sutta, Deda Vitakka means two kinds of thoughts in the Majjhima Nikaya, where the Buddha said, monks, even before my attainment of enlightenment, as an unenlightened person, I divided my thoughts into two, good thoughts and bad thoughts. Good section, where there are wholesome thoughts, good thoughts, thoughts of renunciation, thoughts of non-ill will, thoughts of non-cruelty. The bad thoughts, discursive thoughts of sensuality, discursive thoughts of ill will, discursive thoughts of cruelty. So I divided this into two. And whenever such bad thoughts, discursive thoughts arose in me, I thought, this is not for my benefit. It is not beneficial. This is not for the benefit of others. This is something harmful to me. This is a cause for the deterioration of my wisdom. This leads me away from Nibbana. In such a way, he thought in this manner, and he applied Dhamma, and the Buddha taught us to apply the same thing. Whenever such thoughts arise, now you see, this morning even I told you to practice, do not welcome, let it go and destroy it. Now we have another method from the Deda Vitakka Sutta. Whenever such thoughts arise, understand this is not for my own beneficial, not for my own benefit, not for the beneficial of others. Others means your own people, like your mom, your dad, your son, daughter, the family members. Understand that. And then understand that this is for my own destruction. ruinage, my own ruinage. This is a cause for the deterioration of my wisdom. Wisdom wanes because of this. Such thought. My wisdom wanes, which leads me away from Nibbana. Not to the Nibbana, but away from Nibbana. Therefore, cut off it. Friends, in this manner, let's understand this Dhamma and practice so that we can understand this technique of meditation. This is what the Buddha said. This is what the Buddha said in the discourses. Let's practice this and understand so that we can live happily, peacefully here in this very world and realize the Dhamma, realize Nibbana here in this very world. Ditteva Dhamme. Ditteva Dhamma means here in this world we don't want to go anywhere else to attain Nibbana. Nowhere else. Buddha said, here you have to attain Nibbana, realize real peace here in this very world. Let's practice this Dhamma, and by the power of this Dhamma, by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, may all our efforts be successful. May we all realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. So, next, okay, we have question and answers. Now meditation. Yeah? Yeah, we can switch, right? Yeah. Okay. We can take Q&A now. After that, meditation.
Yeah. Those who need to go to the toilet or ask questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Bhante, why is it that the discursive thought of cruelty is separated from the discursive thought of evil, because ill will? Because cruelty, I thought, is part of ill will.
Cruelty is ill will. Cruelty is ill will, and ill will and cruelty are two things. Ill will is you have no good terms. Your will is ill, where you have sort of grudge, sort of anger, resentment, you don't like. It is not that bad. It's not that cruel. Cruelty is that you go further. You want to hit him, right? Like you use weapons, different weapons. You use a pistol, a gun, whatever gun, or knife, and finally you kill the person. Killing the person. It is finally you kill the person. That is cruelty. You chop the person even. That is cruelty. These are two different levels. Sensuality, ill will, cruelty. Ill will is to be switched to non-ill will, that is metta. Sensuality is to be switched to renunciation. In order to cut off sensuality, you can practice renunciation. In order to cut off ill will, you can practice non-ill will. In order to cut off cruelty, you can practice non-cruelty, non-violence. Right? Understand?
Bhante, just now, earlier you mentioned about from perceptions it leads to vipaka. From contact, I think feeling, perceptions, then leads to vipaka.
Vipaka?
Vipaka. Vitaka, yeah.
Vitaka, yeah.
Could you have to explain how to relate this vitaka with sankhara again?
Relate with what?
With sankhara.
Sankhara.
Yeah.
Well, now, when we have the I or any other internal base to any other internal base, we have the external base. These two come together with consciousness. Whenever there are these two, then there arises consciousness. It is to come to the range, right? I is here. The external object should come to the range of the I. Then there arises the corresponding conscious engagement. With that, there arises consciousness. With that consciousness, these three come together, which is called meeting of the three, which is called contact. It is because of contact, feeling arises. Three things arise because of contact. Feeling arises, perception arises, and volitional formations arise. Volitional formations arise. Right? All these three arise because of contact. Now, Venerable Mahakaccayana said, yang vedeti tang sanjanati. When you have what one feels, that one perceive, sanjanati. Then what one perceive, that one, yang sanjanati tang vitakketi. They are vitakka. Vitakka means discursive thoughts. Discursive thoughts arise because of perception. Because when you recognize, perception is recognition. When you recognize something, then there arise these vitakka thoughts. Then yam vitakketi tam papancheti, next one. Papancha. Papancha is increasing, proliferation. Thinking of your past, future, and the present. That is what is called papancha. Right? Is it clear?
He's asking about vitaka in sankhara. So there are different terms used for the same.
Vitaka is not sankhara. Sankhara, vitaka, and sankhara. Sankhara, karma, sanchetana, these are the similes, these are synonyms, not vitaka. Vitaka means you are thinking, you have discursive thought. Thought formation, yes, thought formation.
But Bhante, thought formations will have the formation of karma, which is part of sankhara.
Yeah, that in that case, since the karma, like volitional formations, where we do good deeds, bad deeds, or deeds based on jhana, those are called sankhara. One kind of sankhara. There are two kinds of sankhara. I explained this yesterday. Two categories. One category is we have kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, chitta sankhara. Kaya sankhara means, in that case, breath. Kaya sankhara means breath. Vachi sankhara means vitakka vichara. See, vitakka vichara. So that comes under that. Vitakka, in that case, vachi sankhara. Vitakka. Vitakka vichara. And then chitta sankhara. Chitta sankhara is feeling and perception. Then the other sankhara, there is another sankhara, then another category, where the Buddha pointed out in the Parabhimansana Sutta. Abhisankara, the term is Abhisankara. Abhisankara means you leave behind something to reap the results in future. Where Buddha said, Punyabhisankara, Apunyabhisankara, Ananjabhisankara. Punyabhisankara are your formations. Volitionally, you acquire something good, Punyabhisankara. Then Apunyabhisankara are bad things, evil. Then Ananjabhisankara are the sankhara you gain through jhana. So all sankhara leads to samsara. All sankhara leads to samsara. That's the thing to understand.
Bhante, if we have 5 senses, right? For example, 5 senses. If, say, our eyes go out, so we will have a contact, right? So it's something that is unavoidable, right? Because of the 5 senses and all that. But I think the culprit is if we don't grasp or attach to it, then we don't add into ourselves. Is that right?
You don't store.
Yeah. So is my understanding correct?
Yeah. If we have no attachment, we don't leave behind.
Okay, thank you.
Attachment takes place, you see, attachment takes place because of craving. When we see the object, it's glue, there's glue. The glue is craving. It is because of craving we attach it. So how this craving arises? Because of feeling. We feel when we see the object, then the object is the form. That form does not come and hit in our eye. It is the light that comes to our eye. And where we make this image of the external object. With that image, we cling to that image. That is what is called form aggregate. When we have form aggregate, we feel it. That is what is called feeling aggregate. With that feeling, we perceive it. At the same time, when we have feeling, we have craving. Vedana pacha tanha. Craving. Dependent on feeling, we crave, and there is craving. At that time, the time of contact, we have feeling, right? Because of contact, we have feeling. At that time, we grasp it. That is what is called craving. If we are mindful at that time, instead craving, we can make it wisdom. Wise, we can be wise and make it wisdom. That's called panya. Not tanha, but panya. If we have wisdom there, then the process is in a different way. Not to attach to, but to detach.
Bhante, about the simile of the pond with the gates, right? So the gates are what is releasing the underlying tendencies into the present. The gates, you say you shut the gates, then does it mean that our past tendencies is like shut out?
Yeah,
I don't quite understand that.
Once you close your gate, 5 gates. 6th one is when you are dreaming, when you are thinking, or while you are sleeping. In dream you have thoughts. You cannot stop that because you are dreaming. So this, once you close the doors, 5 doors, still there are underlying tendencies. Those are to be removed. In order to remove these, we have to be mindful whenever they pop up. They pop up with the support of an external object through the 6 sense bases. Whenever they pop up, we have to understand and we have to cut off them all.
So even when there are no sense objects, you still are left with the memory, is it? It pops up internally, not with the stimulus of an external object.
With the support of external object, the 5 senses, with the support of the external object through these 5 senses, they pop up.
And even when the 5 senses are cut off, the pond itself has some more memory. I mean,
5 senses,
the
you
gates
cannot cut off all these, but you can control. You are going to control this, right? Cut off means you cannot stop them forever. So you cannot stop them forever. But whenever you see the object, when you hear, you have to understand these 5 aggregates through which you can tame this. You can subdue this with understanding of 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates arise in these 6 sense bases. Form, like form of sound, form of sound, form of smell, form of taste, form of tangible, form of mental object. Then there arise the feeling of the eye, feeling of the ear, like that, feeling. Then the perception. All these 5 are arising in each object, each sense base. That is why the Buddha said, I told that about 𝐏𝐴𝐺𝐸, the student. To him the Buddha said, stop desire and lust to these 6 forms. 6 forms in the 6 sense bases. Form is the starting point. If you can understand that form as the starting point of the 5 aggregates, whenever something comes to your mind, whenever something comes to your eye, you do not cling to that. Normally we cling to that because of our desire, lust. So Buddha said, cut off this desire and lust towards your eye, towards the form in the eye, form in the ear, form in the nose, form in the tongue, form in the body, and form in the mind. Nibbana is there, right there. Buddha said Nibbana is right there. Because then you don't come to feeling. If you can cut off the desire to the form of sound like that, then you don't come to next step. No feeling. Yeah, you do not grasp feeling. Understand?
Yes. Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, can you cut off this during meditation? Can you cut the 5 sense doors during meditation, except for the mind?
Yeah, through mind we observe this. Without mind we cannot understand. So, when we practice meditation, we have to understand that we have enough mindfulness. In order to develop mindfulness, we have to practice anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing. That is why we practice mindfulness of breathing, to develop our mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, then we can understand whenever they arise. That is meditation. Mindfulness is the important thing. Mindfulness is important. First we have to have mindfulness. Then whenever they arise, we can understand that, oh, this is something evil thoughts. Whether it is an evil thought or good thought, we can understand them as they are. And the 5 aggregates also as they are in the eye. Then we can understand the 4 noble truths as they are in the eye. We can understand the 3 characteristics of existence as they are in the eye. We can understand the dependent origination as it is in the eye, not in the eye. Ear, nose, tongue, body and the mind. All these principles of the Buddha, 4 noble truths, dependent origination, 3 characteristics of existence, these are in the 6 sense bases. If we can understand the 5 aggregates, we can understand them. Not only that, we can understand this remainderless cessation of karma in the eye, in the ear, in the nose, tongue, body and the mind. Whole Dhamma is here within us, not in the library.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, because of feeling, we like the object. And because we like the object, we develop craving. But if because of feeling, we do not like the object, we dislike it, does it mean that we do not have craving?
Like?
We do not like it. We dislike the object. Opposite of craving. So we do not have craving because we dislike the object. So there is no craving. Is that okay?
No, it's not.
You like it?
He's thinking that if you don't like that person, that means you don't crave. It's actually you are craving to get rid of it.
Like is another word.
He's thinking of you don't actually like that object, so you don't have craving, Bhante. That is
Don't like means
not
repulsion.
repulsion, yes.
You don't like her. You don't like her means
You want to get rid of that person.
in good terms, right? You are not in good terms. Then what is you have no craving is true, though it is the other side of the same coin.
Craving, ill will. You have ill will.
Other side of the same coin. That is anger. Repulsion. Repulsion, which is wrong again. Like and dislike both should be shunned. Buddha said like and dislike, both should be shunned.
Yes, both.
Hi, good afternoon, Bhante. I just want to clarify about Sanya and Sankhara. So just now Bhante mentioned the two types of Sankhara, the second type being the volitional formation. So when we mention 5 aggregates, the Sankhara, does it refer to this second type of Sankhara, or it also includes the first type you described?
Sankhara.
Yeah, and also the Sanya. Sanya, when we talk about 5 aggregates, does it include both perception and the discursive thoughts, like those memories, imaginations, and all those?
Perception is your recognition. Perception means recognition. You recognize it. So there are different ways to recognize. Like Buddha said in the Girimananda Sutta, Buddha gave 10 different types of perception. Dasa Sanya. So according to this, this category of what you call karma, sankhara, different sankhara. As I said earlier, there are 2 categories. One is the kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, chitta sankhara. The other is punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, anenjabhi sankhara. These are the 2 categories. These 3 do not, we cannot stop this forever. Like the Buddha did not stop this sankhara. Buddha said sankhara are to be stopped. Sankhara are to be stopped. Sankhara are to be cut off. That is why sabbe sankhara anicca. All sankhara are impermanent. And his first utterance right after his attainment of enlightenment, where he said, Visankara gatan chitta. Visankara means no more sankhara. So the Buddha stopped sankhara. But Buddha did not stop this sankhara. Right? This sankhara means, kaya sankhara means breath. Buddha did not stop breath after his attainment of enlightenment. Then he had vitakka vichara. He has thinking and examining, vitakka vichara. And he has feeling and perception. So these 3 sankhara, one category, which are not to be stopped. These are to be understood when one enters the state of mind which is called Nirodha Samapatti. Nirodha Samapatti means the cessation of perception and feeling, where you have no perception and feeling. In order to attain that state, you have to cease your sankhara. This sankhara means breath. You have to cease it. When you practice that meditation, you can calm down. Not totally cease your breath. If so, then you are no more. Then feeling and perception are no more. That is why the person can stay at least 1 week without food, drinks, because of that trance, that absorption, which is called Sanya Vedeta Nirodha, the cessation of complete cessation, that sensation of feeling and perception. Sanya Vedeta Nirodha, or Nirodha Samapatti, the cessation of that 8 Samapattis. It's the 9th one. So the other one is called Punyabhisankara, Apunyabhisankara, and Anejabhisankara. These are the formations, volitional formations. These are called volitional formation. As you have volitionally acquired this, you have leave behind this in your your aggregate of volitional formations. That is how we grasp things and leave behind in the volitional formation aggregate. It is because of this we have to reap the results. Now these are the causes we have left behind. Since we have left behind the causes, whether you've done good deeds, bad deeds, or jhana, you have to reap the results accordingly. So the Buddha said, upadana pacchaya bhava. Upadana pacchaya bhava means it is because of attachment, upadana, then there is bhava, existence. Existence means not only one, but 31. 31 existence. We are born in 31 realms because of that grasping of the different volitional formations. Sankhara, whether it is punyabhisankara, apunyabhisankara, or ananyabhisankara, you are going to reap the results accordingly. Right? Understand?
So when we talk about 5 aggregates, it's referring to this second type of sankhara. 5 aggregates.
Yeah.
The sankhara means the volitional formation.
Yeah.
It's correct, right? But sometimes when I read
Karma.
Yeah. But sometimes when I read, when talking about 5 aggregates, sanya was translated to perception. Sometimes. Sanya was translated to perception.
Perception, yes.
So
Sanya is perception, that's correct.
Yeah, so perception and discursive thoughts like memory, imagination, these all belongs to the group of sanya. Is that so?
No, sanya is you recognize something. That is you perceive. With the support of the different concomitant factors, you see the object. Now say, for instance, when you have the eye, there is a form, then there arises consciousness. With that consciousness, there arises, with the 3, contact. It is because of contact, feeling. It is because of feeling that you perceive. That is perception. That is what is called sanya. When you see the object.
So if all, but then it's not really
thoughts?
sankhara.
Discursive thoughts and sanya together. She thought discursive thoughts is part of sanya. Sanya is just perception.
Discursive thought and
So
sanya.
which aggregate it is the discursive thoughts if it's not volitional formation yet? I mean, it hasn't reached to become volitional formation, but it's just like thoughts. So it falls under which category of the 5 aggregates?
The discursive thoughts belong to volitional formation. Volitional formation aggregate. Not sanya.
Okay.
Next one. All discursive thoughts belong to volitional formation aggregate. Because they are karma. Volitional formations are karma. Karma are volitional formations. Sankhara. Right? Whether you call it sankhara, abhisankara, chetana, sanchetana, karma, upadana, all these are synonyms. I said this yesterday or something, somewhere. Right.
Any more questions from this side? None? No questions. We shall continue with our meditation, or Bhante can take.
Any other question? No question, right? Okay. Let's take short break and come back to practice. Huh? like 10 minutes.
10 minutes break.